Hi, and welcome to our unit on evolution. This is the theory of evolution. In the last lesson, we talked about Charles Darwin as the father of the modern theory of evolution. In this lesson 1.2, the evidence for evolution, we'll be looking closer at some of the evidences that support this theory of evolution. My name is Lauren Davis. I'm one of the instructors of this lesson. So one of the ways that we know that evolution is a strong theory is based on the fossil evidence in the geologic record. We have a record of species that are very similar as they change over time. For example, the horse is the one that the reading talked about, and if you look at the horse drawing, you can see that the horse has evolved from some small dog-like animal. Its hoofs evolved over time to the modern horse that we have now. So we find these horses throughout time as changing into the modern animal we have today. And the same with a lot of the different types of organisms we have now. We can find like creatures in the fossil record. Here you have a picture showing possible stages in the evolution of a whale as well. And we can do that for many different organisms throughout time. So fossil evidence is one strong indicator of these species evolving from one creature to another over long periods of geologic history. Another point of evidence for the theory of evolution is from living species themselves. One of the terms that you'll get familiar with is called comparative anatomy. So we see that similar vertebrate animals have similar structures in them. The hand bones are similar to wing bones, backbones, and different structures within the animals are compared to the same spot on other vertebrate animals and other mammals. Even though they have a lot of different biological structural differences, the skeletal structures within them are very similar. And so that's called comparative anatomy. Another one is comparative embryology. It's hard to tell different vertebrates apart in their early stages as an embryo. Okay, many vertebrate organisms have gill slits when they're still in the embryonic stage, and some other features that they have are very, very similar in their early stages. And so because they are so similar, they probably had common ancestry throughout geologic time. Another is vestigial structures. Organisms still possess structures that are no longer needed by that organism. We have tailbones that are no longer needed. We have our appendix. Whales have really small, almost non-existent pelvic bones. Okay, and so there are structures that show that they were once similar and once needed by the organism that are no longer needed because of the way that they live their lives now. So the species have changed over time. In the recent decades, DNA comparison from different animals show how closely they might be related to one another. So the DNA analysis of different animals shows how many chromosomes are like one another, and so how closely they might be related. So another evidence is from biogeography. Biogeography is just the study of how organisms and the geography of an area have changed. In this picture you can see that there is a picture of Pangaea back when all the continents were together. Okay, the animals of that time had a chance, and the plants had a chance to roam over wide areas of Pangaea, and then as the continents began to split apart, that left the species separated by different mountain ranges and different water, oceans and whatnot. And so then they evolved into different species over time. And the fossil record shows that similar organisms roamed in South America, what is now South America, and Africa back when they were together, but as they split apart, the species then differentiated and became new species of organisms on their separate continents. And so that's a biogeography. There's some pictures here of the whales, different types of whales. They're all orca, but they're type A through D, and they have different physical features. And those physical features came about in that group of whales that had different geographic areas that they lived in on the planet. So biogeography is the changing of the animals based on geographic or geological events that happened in the past. So this is another evidence that evolution does take place.